Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction Week. Finally, it's album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. This will be probably the last album review I'll be doing for the 2018 year. I know I'm a little bit late to the boat on this one, but I felt like I wanted to do it because some of them on the list I hadn't done, but I know that I wanted to try to get this one done because it is pretty recent since this album came out. But other than that, the albums of the year and the EPs of the year will be worked on, and those videos will be going out before the year's over with, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Again, interviews will be going out as per usual, and live sets, I'm not going to say they're on hiatus for a bit, but I just haven't been to any shows, so they haven't been posted, but hopefully more of those to come in the foreseeable future. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Crazyeightyeiight's newest record, Burning Alive. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this band, they are pretty much a supergroup. Lauren Babic is a YouTuber, but she also is in another band called Redhead in Denial. Jared Alonge did YouTube for a very long time, and he also did like kind of more satire, like, you know, music that we listen to pretty much. But they released an EP, I believe it was in last year or maybe the year before that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was called No Word Spoken, and I thought it was great. I mean, a lot of people were kind of taken aback because Jared's mostly like comedic sort of stuff, but I've always thought his writing was super good, and just even when he did like the satire sort of stuff, I thought that his writing in that regard was so good. So when he announced that Lauren was going to be in the band and that they were going to be doing stuff, Patty Waters from As It Is also in it as well, but when they were both announced that they were going to be in this band, I was really stoked, and I'm glad that he was going to be taking more of a serious approach to this band, and I'm so glad that they actually made enough money to do this through GoFundMe. But I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Reboot. This is basically an intro. It's basically, I think, an interview with like Alfred Hitchcock, if I'm not mistaken, but it's just this little like vocal piece at the beginning, and then they kind of get into more like guitar and instrumental, but there isn't really much to talk about until we get into the next song, which is track number 2, which is Fortune and Glory Kid. This one's one of my favorites off the record. I love its high energy, and I like that it kind of continues on through the first track, Reboot, that they kind of continue that same sort of energy and that they lead into it. Much like No Word Spoken, like I spoke about previously, I've always felt that Lauren has always had a phenomenal voice. She's probably one of my favorite female vocalists, but I think that in this respect, in this track in particular, I've always appreciated the way that she's able to kind of add some really nice grit to her vocals, especially her cleans, and then also just kind of clean it up and make it real smooth. I think that she just has that diversity, and I've always appreciated that as a vocalist, and just where she comes from in that regard. And you can definitely hear that evident throughout the choruses of the song. You can hear that she kind of cleans it up, but during the verses it's a little bit more gritty. It's a little bit almost borderline scream, which is really nice. This has a great mix of melody and heaviness, which I feel like is a very common theme throughout this entire record. I like that they started playing with that sort of stuff as well, and just blending both parts in between certain parts of the song, so it just didn't feel like a disconnect of just heaviness or just more melodicness. It's just a nice balance of both, and I love the last part. The breakdown just hits at just a phenomenal rate. It starts at around the 2 minutes and 30-second mark and goes to pretty much the end of the track. Again, phenomenal opener track along with Reboot, and just another beautiful track. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Shine Box. This is the first single that has been released, and I believe they released it twice. The first one was kind of like a demo, like maybe like I felt like it was kind of like a rough demo, and this one is the actual song. I know that they released it much early on, even I think prior to them starting GoFundMe, which is totally cool, and I like that they did a little bit more changing to it. It definitely feels more along in the style of the record. If I went back and listened to the original song itself, and it feels a little bit different just because maybe it's just the tuning, but it does have a little bit more to it in this one, and I think it definitely plays a lot better along with the record than if they kept it the same way. I like that Jared contributes to the vocals in this track. I think it's always a plus. I like his vocals in comparison to Lauren's. They just mesh super well, and I wish that they would utilize a little bit more throughout the record, but there are some really good songs that they have that nice blend together. The little tweaks just make this song a little bit better, like I spoke about earlier. There is an original version of that, and there is the album version of it, so I'd love to hear what you guys think about it, if I'm just going crazy or if you think the album version's a little bit better. I like the just like quality of life fixes to it. They added like a little bit of an electronic feel at the beginning, at the middle portion of the song, and I just feel like this one has a little bit more atmosphere, has a little bit more completeness in comparison to the first original portion of the track. So let's move on to track number 4, which is I Am Tetsu. This one's one of my favorites as well. Liking the more melodic nature of this track. I think that this one falls along the lines of more of that melodic forwarded track. It's still pretty decently heavy. I'd say it's more along the like rock direction, but still very good. I think it shows off more the softer side of Crazyeightyeight, and I like that. Again, Jared has more of a pronounced role in this track, especially in the chorus. Those harmonies between Lauren and Jared are phenomenal. Probably some of the best harmonies that I've heard this year, without a doubt. I always love when female vocalists pair with male vocalists. I think that they just create something really good, and the contrast is just absolutely beautiful in this track. I think it's what makes this song memorable to me too, as well. Just the way that they were able to arrange the vocals in such a way that really makes the song, no pun intended, sing, which is awesome. There's this nice little breakdown at the 2 minutes and 40-second mark to around the 2 minutes and 50-second mark that really, again, adds that beautiful like punch, a little bit of aggression, but not like too much to take away from more of the melodic nature of the track. Definitely would love to hear more harmonies, not only in this track, but in maybe future tracks as well. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Bastard from a Basket. They released a music video of this pretty recently. I think it was actually the day that they released the record last week. And I like that this one feels very much the inverse of I Am Tetsu, which is totally weird. I think that this one is also one of the heaviest tracks off the record as well. I think it focuses more on the screaming from Lauren, as well as more of the heavier aspects of the band, and just instrumentally as well. I like that this one just is super heavy. I like that Lauren really kind of improved her screaming since No Words Spoken. I think that they definitely sound more aggressive. They have a little bit more bite to them, and maybe just because of just the recording of it. But I like the aggressive nature of this one. The breakdowns are pretty abundant, but probably my favorite breakdown on the track starts at the 1 minute and 40-second mark and ends at the 2 minutes and 32-second mark. I think just that whole little blurt in that song is really sick, and I like the transition from Jared's kind of almost singing sort of portion to Lauren's screaming. I think that the way that they were able to infuse those two parts together, just transition between the two, was just absolutely clean, and I think that the transition really worked in the song. The ending feels very Under Oath inspired, which is, again, which I spoke about in the previous review, No Words Spoken. I feel like they draw a lot from Under Oath, and it's not more evident in this track as well. So we're going to move into track number 6, which is the Shimmer. This is another interlude track. I feel like they're paying homage to Silent Planet, which for those of you who don't know, Garrett features on one of the tracks that I'll talk about a little bit later on. But the way that they set up the songs feels very reminiscent to how Silent Planet sets up a lot of their music, which is totally cool, and I felt like that was a nice little tidbit that maybe people didn't really pick up on, but who knows, you guys are probably smarter than I. So let's go on to track number 7, which is Nitroglycerin. This one is one of the singles, along with Tears in Rain, along with Shine Box. Those 3 were the singles, and I really enjoyed this one. I like that I like that Nitroglycerin and Tears in Rain were released at the same time, because I feel like they offer nice contrast to not only the singles but also to this portion of the record. I think it is one of my favorites. I love that sort of beefy bass intro portion of the track. I think Lauren kind of rides that line of screaming and singing throughout the song, and it really makes that, aggressive tonality made known in this track. I also feel like it adds a really nice dimension to the track as well. Again, it's more of that aggressive nature, and I think it really obviously works with what they're going for with this. The layered scream in the second half just makes this song so much better, and I also like that it just makes the drop a little bit more punchy, a little bit more aggressive as well. But I love the ending of this track. It is my favorite. It's absolute fire, and I think that they did a phenomenal job. I know it's pretty straightforward in terms of a breakdown, but just the way that they were able to kind of add that sort of ambient vocal part from Lauren that just has her vocals going over it, and just having that really like nice chugged guitar, and just the drums, the bass, everything. I think it really works with this song, and obviously is one of my favorites as well. So we're going to move on to track number 8, which is Tears in Rain. This one is the other single that I had mentioned prior. I like that this one primarily focuses on Lauren's clean singing, which is aided by, the great vocal layering in this track, as well as the harmonies. I feel like this one is a bit straightforward in comparison to a lot of the other tracks off the record. It has just not too much going on for it, but that necessarily mean a bad thing. It's just pretty straightforward to me, and I think it's executed very well. I do like the inclusion of group vocals in the bridge. I thought they were very nice, but particularly in this song, I thought it was well done, well executed. It just, to me, it just didn't feel like it was all there, just in comparison to a lot of the other tracks off the record. So we're going to move into track number 9, which is Mocha Low Plus. This one features Garrett Russell of Silent Planet, like I mentioned earlier, and I like that this song features Garrett. I think right off the heels of his fantastic record, When the End Began. If you haven't checked that one out, I also did a review of that one as well. Please check that out if you get the time to, but if not, please go check out the record because it's phenomenal. But again, I think Garrett really makes this track his own, and I think he does most, if not, I would say most of the song has his screaming in it, which is really nice. I really feel like they utilized him super well in this song, and I like that him and Lauren harmonize in screams. I think that just adds that like texture, that like brutal layering to the track that I feel like would have, sent it. I feel like it would have been a little bit less if they didn't have that in there, so I'm glad that they did. However, I don't think that Garrett could have even saved this track, to say the least. This one's probably my least favorite track, and I think that by far they could have cut out a few things. I felt like the interlude kind of like it almost feels like post-Rocky, which seems a little bit weird to me, but there's just a large gap of them just doing instrumentals, and it just feels kind of out of place, especially at the beginning where there's just a lot of energy. Garrett screaming, Lauren screaming, the energy of the song just carries very well, and I feel like they take all the winds out of the sails with this like interlude sort of part. The song is really pretty decently long. I think it's about 5 minutes long, and most of it is just kind of a filler portion of the song. So I feel like if they took out most of the song, where it just kind of feels like there's nothing going on, or there's no build up, or there's no interesting parts, I feel like the song would have been a little bit more cohesive. I think it would have been a lot better, and I think that Garrett would have been utilized a lot better. I think he was utilized great to what the track specified, but I would have loved to hear just a little bit more of a cohesive element to this one. It just feels kind of slow. There isn't a lot going on, and it just feels out of place to me. So we're going to move into track number 10, which is Hanna. This one is a slow track. However, I feel like this one is just great. I think I did not mind this one at all. I think it was beautifully arranged, and I love Lauren's vocals. They really just have that soft tonality, much like in some of the other songs like Tears and Rain, where she's a little bit more on those clean side. I think that this one really, she utilizes a lot of her like really like falsetto, really kind of like glassy, beautiful vocals, and it just kind of reaches into your heart and just kind of like tugs at you. It's really well done, well executed. It almost reminds me a lot of like Kingdom Hearts sort of stuff, in that respect. Just has that sort of orchestral punch and just a vibe to it, which I really love. Would love to hear more of this sort of stuff. Maybe, like another song or two off their next record, whenever they get around to it. But I would definitely like to hear that kind of element continue on into future releases. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is You Were Right. This one is taken pretty much directly from No Words Spoken. They did change up the intro. It feels a little bit more softer, but again, I listened to both songs back to back, and it's pretty much the same thing. I really love this track. I think it is one of the best ones off of No Words Spoken. Maybe Tommy's Planet might be just that much better to me, but overall, really enjoyed this one as well. It really kind of pulls a lot of that Under Oath vibe. So if you are missing out on Under Oath and you felt disappointed with their newest record, definitely go check out No Words Spoken. No Words Spoken, their last EP, and then check out this one, because I feel like for those of you who are big older Under Oath fans, you'll definitely enjoy this record a lot. So we're gonna move into track number 12, which is Ian Hates Gretchen. This one's one of my favorites, just because it is so different. I feel like this one, much like Fortune and Glory Kid, I feel like those two are just probably the most unique tracks off the record, and it just slaps. I love this one. It's really got this great groove to it, and Lauren really puts her really awesome soulful voice. She puts her little stank on it, and I love it. The instrumentals are probably my favorite off the record. It almost reminds me instrumentally very similar to Congratulations by Sleeping with Sirens, with Maddie Mullins. It has that sort of vibe. It has that kind of like real like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's got that real like kind of soulful-ish vibe about it, which I like. It has a uniqueness, it has a memorability to it, and every time I come back to this record, this one is one of my go-tos for sure. So we're gonna move into track number 13, which is 300 pages. I was gonna say 13 pages. 300 pages. This is another interlude, but I think this one's my favorite out of all the interludes. It's just got this real kind of like almost like chill step sort of vibe to it. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well executed in terms of the interludes. But we're gonna move into the last track. Track number 14, which is My Friends, You Bow to No One. This one's my favorite just because I feel like it just kind of culminates the entire record. It has some heavy moments, it has some melodic moments. It's a longer track. I think it's it's over the 5-minute mark as well. And it just has this really great melody to it, but also has an awesome heaviness to it as well. It's one of the best tracks off the record just because I think Lauren does a phenomenal job with her screams, but also cleans as well. I think the only way that this song would have gotten a little bit better is if Jared did some vocals, to just kind of do some harmonies with Lauren or something like that. I think it would have just been that over the top, but otherwise I think it is a very phenomenal track. I think it finishes the record off on a strong note for sure, and definitely enjoy this one a lot. Go listen to this one as well. So some pros and cons that I have about the record: I think it's heavy, I think it's melodic, and I love the counterbalance between both of them, and just the way that they are able to balance both of those two things into one cohesive record. I think it is very well executed, well done. Lauren's vocals have definitely improved both in the clean department and the scream department. I think she did a phenomenal job, and she absolutely killed it, and couldn't be more proud of her. I think she does a phenomenal job on this one. It's a great follow-up to No Words Spoken. I really enjoyed that EP a lot. I listened to it a ton, and I think that this one is also one that I'll be listening to a lot in the foreseeable future. Some cons that I have: I feel like there's a few missed opportunities, more specifically in Moloko Plus. I feel like they could have definitely done more stuff with that one. without a doubt, I think that they would have made that one that much better if they maybe thought about it a little bit more, as well. I think that track number 11, I would have hoped that they would have put a new track in there, but I like what they did. The quality of life fixes to track number 11 with that intro. I think that was solid. As well as another con for me is that there's not enough Jared's vocals. I think that tracks that really shine to me is Am Tetsu. I think that one's one of my favorites. I think it is my favorite track off the record just because of those vocal layerings, that harmony. I think that is really what's going to set them apart from a lot of other bands, is if they do something like that, if they include a lot of that, if they incorporate a lot of that into future releases. I'd love to hear that because I think they did a phenomenal job with that track, and I just love to hear more of that because I always love that female-male vocal part. I do feel like there's too many interludes. I said that about the Silent Planet record too, so it is not just a one thing about this band, but I think that it just kind of feels a little bit, some of them I feel like do work, like Reboot I think works very well on this track, but I think the Shimmer was a little bit unnecessary, and I think 300 Pages was pretty decent as well. So I'd say pretty much the Shimmer, if they took that out, would have been a little bit better. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it's something that I feel like is definitely important enough to be pointed out off this record. So my overall rating for Crazyeightyeight Burning Alive, I'm going to be giving it a 9.5 out of 10. It's definitely one you should check out. I think, again, finishing out 2018 strong. I think they did a really phenomenal job with this record. And, I would definitely am going to go pick it up. I can't wait to add it to my CD collection as well. And you should definitely go check them out. Please go support Crazyeightyeight. Links will be in the description. And let me know what you think about the record. It's been out for a couple days now, or longer. I don't even know. I'm losing track of time because I'm getting older, but definitely go check that one out, please. Let me know what you think about the record. Do you think my thoughts, my opinions are on point? I'd love to hear what you guys think about the record as well. I'm definitely stoked on the future of Crazyeightyeight, and again, I hope that everybody will continue to support this band because I would love to see them do more stuff in the future. But my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.